All right. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sarah. I am the founder of Simply. We've got a lot of people streaming in over here. Hello, all over the world. Thanks for joining us. And then our lovely friends here locally in LA. Thanks for being here at the YouTube space on International Women's Day. So exciting. So today I am here with some amazing women. Stay tuned to the very end, all you live streamers. We have a big announcement that we're going to make. But today we are here to talk female empowerment, entrepreneurship, and all the fun things that we want to learn about women. So before we begin, I'm going to introduce all of our panelists. So if we want to go down the line. First, we've got.
I hear the live stream.
First, we've got Jana Kramer,
Hello.
actress, musician, entrepreneur, all the things.
Hello. Hey, guys.
We've got Elyse Walker. She is also the founder of Elyse Walker, all of the stores, and also Forward by Elyse Walker. And
So happy to be here.
yes, and then Lindsay Albanese, founder of TOPTOTE and digital influencer.
Hi, everyone. Is this work? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can't.
So I want to start off just so you guys have a full breadth of knowledge of everyone here on the panel. If you guys can just kind of go down the line and speak for a few minutes about kind of your path to where you are today. If Lindsay wants to start.
Really? Okay.
You're great.
All right. So just the Reader's Digest version.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 minutes. Your story.
Oh, that's a long time.
Oh.
Okay, so I started as a fashion stylist for celebrities and for big productions.
You styled me, by the way.
Yes, I did. This
How
was
many
kind
years ago? Like
10
t-
years. You were on
10,
One Tree
11
Hill.
years ago. Crazy, yeah.
So yeah, so that's where I started in 2002. This was before Google, which is crazy. I'm already old enough to say when I was starting out, there was no Google. So from there, I was 21 years old. I styled for productions, Entertainment Tonight, American Idol, Dancing with the Stars. Everyone from Sarah Hyland to Jimmy Kimmel. So I traveled the world as a fashion stylist. And then I was at Access Hollywood for 6 years as a stylist. And after I left there, I pursued the freelance world. And given being on all these styling on all these shows, outlets naturally want to put you on TV and have you talk about fashion on red carpet. So I was doing a lot of that because of the credibility I had as a stylist styling these productions. So from that, I started building my own brand. And then I started regularly doing segments on the Today Show. And one day when I got off the Today Show, my producer said, that was such a great job. And something clicked in me that, but beyond the producer and maybe my mom or someone seeing me on TV, I really didn't know how my fashion tips or skill set that I was talking about was really connecting with anybody. So that was truly the segment that I did was the light bulb moment where I was like, I'm going to start a YouTube channel because then I can, first of all, produce the content I want to because the producers have to approve everything you do. And a lot of times I was like, no, don't put that shirt with that skirt. Also because I would actually get to connect with people and make content that they were requesting of me. And it was like my own little network. So I've been doing that and monetizing it. How I make my money is paid partnerships with my YouTube channel, alongside with hosting and being a spokesperson, given my skill set as a professional stylist in the industry for the past 17 years, which really what truly differentiates me as an influencer is that I have been an industry professional and I do hold a lot of credibility given all of that experience. So I suffer from chronic boredom. So I just guess I love a challenge. Not that I'm bored of my YouTube channel, but I wanted something else. I wanted something beyond me being like, hi, everyone. So 2 years ago, I invented TOPTOTE. It's a hat clip, and it's the most significant, it's right here, you guys. It's the most significant invention to hat carrying since the hat box. I was dealing with this issue, and if you guys deal with, if you wear a hat and you travel, you have to wear it on your head at 7 a.m. That is very cute. And so I was just, the commitment of wearing a hat was just so annoying. I didn't want to wear it on the flight at 7 a.m. Or maybe I wanted to go to the beach, then wear it, then not. Or a festival, I wanted to wear it and then take it off. So I went into development 2 years ago. I patented it and everything. We launched 5 months ago in October. And my first big retailer was Nordstrom. They actually wanted to buy my product before I even had a website. I showed it to them about 9 months ago. And they love the concept because it's new and it provides a solution to an issue all hat wearers can relate to. And we sold out of Nordstrom. Almost 70% of inventory in 3 days. We launched in Nordstrom on a Friday. They called me Monday morning saying we underestimated this. We wish we would have taken a bigger risk. So I fulfilled the other order and we sold out again in 11 days. And I truly can't keep up. And it's just like a pinch me moment. So now it's like I have a full company that's running and we're expanding in Nordstrom and having activations in all stores and more retailers. And this is the first product of an entire line of serviceable style products I want to create that make people's lives easier. There's enough people out there doing cute things and cool things. I just always want to create products that create conversation and have an element where you share with somebody because it makes your life easier. It kind of is who I am as a person. I'm a people person, so I want to create products that have like that personality and that shareable moment. So that's it.
I love it. I was literally at the airport. I had 2 people come up to me and say, "What is that and where can I buy it?" It's
That's awesome.
brilliant.
Thank
so,
you.
and I've just seen you along the way, and we've known each other for how many years?
Forever. Like I was styling and you were facilitating polls.
Yep.
Like this was
Doing
in the
PR.
beginning. Yes.
So, congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And yes, go ahead, Elyse.
Elyse Walker. Been supporting women my whole life. Anything that's this kind of environment. I just left Paris Fashion Week to be here. Left my whole team there.
I love her.
So, but by the way, it is about 4 o'clock in the morning for me right now, but that's okay. I'm a retailer. I've been a designer at times. I've always been a stylist, but I never knew it was a stylist. But I've been styling my whole life organically, which is something we'll get to later because I believe all businesses, you need to start with the organic. I grew up in New York working for my family in their shoe business, swearing I would never be in retail, and worked my whole life on the sales floor. I love building relationships. I would actually say more than retailer, I'd say team builder. I love building teams. I love supporting women. And I've been fortunate in my career to have many opportunities to do that. So grew up in the shoe business. That's still my favorite, probably, of all the buying that I do. And moved to Los Angeles and swore I'd never be in retail. But I got the bug and moved to Pacific Palisades. My kids were little, and I said I have to open a store. I wanted to be room mom, as I was telling you. And I opened a store 1 block from my kids' school when they were about 5 and 7 years old. So, and I was room mom every year, 1 year for one boy at Ryan, and then the next year for Kevin, and back and forth, because, you have to be like equal to your children. So, opened my first store in 1999, very small store. I've expanded that store 5 or 6 times. And in the last few years, I opened stores in Newport, and now I just launched a new company called Towne by Elyse Walker, which is more casual, laid back, luxury lifestyle. And about 8 years ago, merged my.com with the owners of Revolve, and we made Forward by Elyse Walker. So that's another company that I work on every single day. And I still love what I do, and I tell people I'm still warming up.
I love it.
I have like so
Powerhouse.
many questions that I want to
I
ask
know.
both of you guys. But let's see. I got my start doing Entourage, Grey's Anatomy. But what I think people really know me from is One Tree Hill. I did One Tree Hill for about 4 years, and then when I was working on One Tree Hill, I felt like I wasn't pursuing what I really wanted to pursue, and that was singing. So I wrote some songs, gave them to the creator of the show, and I was like, look, I have no idea if any of this is good, but just please, let me know. And then he turned my character into a singer on the show. From there, I got my record deal and then went on to tour with, Blake Shelton, Darius Rucker, Lady Antebellum. I have a couple platinum selling singles, platinum and gold. And then I had my daughter, and everything kind of shifted for me. It was first and foremost, I'm a mom, and that's my favorite job of anything that I'm doing now. And I really, what I kind of learned and I kind of structured where I went with my career from the people that have followed me from the very beginning. We've all, my One Tree Hillers, we've all become moms, and, people who have heard me from music. And I, I don't know, I love music, I love singing, but I love doing all things mom. And I started a business with this beautiful woman called the Moms and Babes Box, and that's just been really fun. And I can't believe it's been a year, not even, that we launched, and we've now already had 2 boxes that have gone out. But I mean, we'll talk about that later. But so I'm doing the box subscription, and then I have a podcast with my husband on iHeartRadio called Wind Down that we do together. That's been amazing, and I'm really starting to brand with my husband and kind of talking about our relationship and the good fight along with it. So, yeah.
I love it. So everyone's obviously entrepreneurial, but so different on this panel. It's exciting to have you guys all here. And now we wanted to kind of go through and talk about number one tips and advice that you would give to new entrepreneurs. I know a lot of people here in the fashion beauty industry, but a lot of people streaming in are from all different types of industries. So something that you can take no matter what sort of entrepreneur you are. Like, yes, you have moms and babes, but I think you're an entrepreneur as a social media influencer in like so many different things that you're doing and so on. So do you have any tidbits or advice that really stand out to you?
I would say don't limit yourself. I mean, I feel like some people say, well, don't limit yourself, but also know your strengths too. I'm the kind of person where some people say put all your eggs in one basket. I'm just not that person. I know that I can equally be as successful if I do a lot of the other things that I want to do. So for me, it's just not limiting yourself just to one thing, and being okay to expand your idea too. Because I never thought I would be an influencer, but I mean, look where it's taken off, and I've been able to meet amazing companies and products, and been able to then have the idea to do, the box. So I think it's just to keep an open mind.
Yeah, that's great.
And I would say if you do have an idea or a passion or an industry you're interested in, um, do your market research. Look at what everyone's doing. Look who's obviously successful in the industry, but don't be afraid if you have a different point of view. So I always tell people put your feelers out, absorb, talk to everyone, but in the end, bring it on home. Say, this is the direction I'm going in, and don't be afraid that other people aren't doing it.
My bit of advice is something that I've applied from the beginning until now, and I actually have to constantly remind myself. It's to, and kind of touching on what Elyse said, to tap into your resources constantly along the journey. I think once things you naturally, when you start out anything, you are such a student and you're doing a lot of research. But once you acquire success and money, it just gets harder, and the pressure, and you sometimes can get sucked into a vacuum or a tunnel because you're so busy and so overworked. So you think that you're just, and you're also problem solving constantly. And sometimes you need to come up for air and just be like, who can I talk to right now that will give me point of view? Or I'm trying to figure this out. I've been hitting my head against the wall. I can't figure it out. Who can I talk to? Who do I know? I mean, I've reached out to people on LinkedIn who have now become mentors of mine. Like, don't be scared to reach out. When I first started TOPTOTE and I wanted to invent a product, I remember my parents' neighbor. I hadn't seen him probably since I was 10 years old. He had made sunglasses. He had this company. I straight up called him 2 years ago. I'm like, hey, remember me? Probably last time I saw him, I was like 10 years old, like playing soccer or something. Hopefully not doing anything bad. Actually, I just thought about that. But it's really digging it and not being scared. Do not think that you are going to bother people. Who cares? P.S. A lot of people like to talk about themselves and also tell you what to do. So ask them, let them tell you everything you should do. I've had some great conversations, and I've had some conversations where I'm like, okay, I will take a little bit of that and I will leave the rest. But I think it's important to tap into your resources, take what resonates with you and leave the rest, which is, what Elyse said. But constantly.
But could I say on that note, it's such an amazing time for young people to think outside of the box and to absorb information just because of social networking. It's crazy time. I mean, your resources are in abundance. They could almost be distracting, but if you have an idea, I mean, you can see what other people did in 1 minute, working from your home. You don't even have to fly on a plane. I mean, you can really, when they say the sky's the limit, it's really anything's possible now, and especially for women. And I know we're going to talk about this later, but there's so much camaraderie, and I mean, everyone is working together. Everyone's doing it's such a collaborative time in women's
I love
history.
it. Yes.
I will say one thing though too, even when you tap into your resources, everyone has an opinion. And that's where you have to take what they say with a grain of salt too. Sometimes it's like they might want to change it. We're like, but that's not what my product is. So don't be like, okay, then I'm going to do that because they said that. It's like, no, no, no. Like you still have to have like your,
Trust your gut.
trust your gut with what your product is. And if because someone will have opinion about something and it's going to be different than the next person you ask. So just trust what the product that you're
That's
having.
like what I was saying before, is go put your feelers out, but then bring it on home.
Yeah.
And then follow the vision that you had.
Yeah.
So same thing.
Yeah, I remember, Lindsay, before you started your company, you sent out an email with like, what logo do you like? And you asked for advice or something like that. I remember you did a lot of research, or maybe it was a quiz or something, but you did a lot of research before you launched into a product, which is a great thing to do. I remember before we launched Moms and Babes, I sent all these logo options out. I asked advice. Like, you have to really, I mean, on one hand, you want to just jump in and start something and go for it and not think about it too much. But then on the other hand, it is good to do your due diligence and all your research and really get feedback from people. But
And I've talked to a lot of people who have this idea that they want to pursue or they want to start something, and right away, they all the excuses of I don't want to reach out, I don't want to ask. Like again, I can't say this enough. Like fortune favors the bold. You just have to go for it. Don't worry about bothering people. You just have to ask. Like I think that's so many people who are starting out are so nervous to ask for help or ask for guidance, and you really have to. That's your own. It's free education. It's a free resource. So don't be nervous about doing that. And not
That's
everyone's
like why
gonna
they have
respond.
those websites too, like LinkedIn, and to be
Right.
able to connect, and
Yes.
even Instagram too.
slide into those DMs.
Yeah.
And another tip that I have, as I started my business 8 years ago, got acquired 2 years ago. One thing is don't give up. Uh, I remember so many times when I was like, this is stupid. Like I'm just listening to all the feedback from, that one person, that one negative thought that comes into your head when there's 1,000 great ones, and all those times that you want to give up and you think, okay, I should just get a regular job or whatever all those thoughts are. But it's like as soon as you get over that hurdle, that's when you succeed, and that's when you really find success. For me, at least, I think you just got to keep on keeping on. So with success, also there's failures along the way. Can you guys talk about some setbacks or failures that you've faced throughout your career, like whether it's business or personal, that have
Can I
helped
just set
you?
the tone on this?
Yes.
Anytime I speak, I actually bring up the failures because
Uh-huh.
everyone likes to hear about the successes, and those are, they're fun things, or those are the things that most of the time people know most about you. But you will never have any successes without a few failures along the way, and it's impossible. No one hits a home run every time they get up to bat. Not the best baseball player in the whole world. I always use that one. So do not be afraid to fail. It's inevitable. I mean, how many shows did you try out for and they didn't get a call back? You're not going to get a call back till you get, that's just how it's going to be.
And the
So
yes feels so good when you get it then.
it does, but your expectations are, I know a lot of women are afraid to try because they don't want the failure or the rejection. And none of us wake up in the morning and say, oh my God, I can't wait to fail today. None of us feel that way, but you won't get to the, ideas that you have, the businesses you have, the websites, the shows, the product without some failures along the way.
Mm-hmm. Do you have?
Do you have any?
Yeah,
Like
what-
Tell us
a
about your
list a
failures.
mile long. A list a mile long. Yeah.
Any that pop out that would be a good example we could share today?
I mean, I opened men's business, and 1 week later, the stock market crashed in 2008. I opened a store while I was in college in New York City while I was 20 years old, still in college, and the stock market crashed. This is 19. I actually, if I open a store, you guys should all not go into business next time I announce my next store opening. So yeah, I've had a number of them.
And what about like I know the retail industry, I'm sure there's been a lot of ups and downs and moving to e-commerce, like how have you kind of
I think
navigated?
Right now I tell my team, you're going to make mistakes every single day. Just tomorrow, let's make new ones. So we'll buy a line or a brand and we'll work really hard to get it, and it will fail. And we just have to, I think, recognize it quickly. You can't let your ego get in the way, because then you'll keep buying that line or double downing on that investment. Or I just was speaking to a young girl who's in a job, and it's definitely not going to work for her. So she needs to just cut her ties and stop, because she needs to be in another place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's hard to do, because no one wants to quit, but sometimes you actually need to move on.
Yeah, that's a big a big decision
And
to
it's
make,
hard,
quitting
but
your
if
job.
something doesn't feel right, not one bad day or one bad week or one bad month, but if you're trying and trying and trying, so I've actually found that sometimes those really tough situations that have been challenging and you keep trying to work through them, sometimes when you take that one step back that maybe on paper looks like a failure, it then brings you another door opens that you would have never seen or had the opportunity to go into that avenue of that business.
I just want to know what that door is, though. You know what I mean? In that moment.
In
'Cause
that,
like,
well,
but
it
they don't just doesn't
well,
happen
no,
that
that
way.
no one says this is the correct door. So that's why I think it's important to have a strong support system. Whether sometimes we can get that at work, but I think that your personal life, the confidence and support that, especially as women, that you have with your friends, hopefully some in the workplace or hopefully a lot in the workplace, but the friends that you have, I always call my friends the family you choose. So I'm
Yeah.
lucky I have a wonderful family, but my friends are the family I choose. So they should support you. And you should, when I'm with my friends or when you're with your friends, I think you should leave your friends and feel smarter, prettier, thinner, everything,
For
funnier.
sure.
You should leave your friends and feel great. And it's the support I get, or I think everyone should get from your family and your relationships, that help you through those failures, help you take those chances, help you try a new venue, and help you cut your losses when you're like, this is absolutely not going in the right way. Because you can go home and call, whomever. And I think that support system can help women tremendously in taking risk.
Yeah, find your tribe. They say the 5 people you surround yourself with most is who you become or who you are. So choose wisely.
Well, we're in a nice tribe
I
here.
know.
So.
We got a good tribe here. And that's so true. I remember when I started my business, my husband was the one that was like, you're quitting your job. You're doing this. You're going to kill it. You're great. And meanwhile, I'm like, you self-doubt. You don't have the confidence, but you need that support to really
But
push
you
you
kind
through.
of do have the confidence because he saw that in you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Anyone else have any failures they want to share?
Where do I start? I mean, when I lost my record deal a couple years ago, I was just like, I didn't understand. And then I was just like, all right, well, I guess music is done. And then I was like, no, it's not. I just get to do it my way now, not the way that the label told me or the songs that they wanted me to have or that they wanted me to sing. I got to sing the songs that I wanted to sing, what I wanted to do on my timeline. And that's been really nice. Again, it was so weird. I didn't know what and why and how that happened, but it's been really amazing to just kind of control my music and put out the songs that I love and that I want to release to my fans. And then, to your point today, I thought I was finally going to get that next show, and it was between me and two girls. Got the call today that I didn't get it. Bawled my eyes out for about 2 hours, and then I was like, all right, next. But I took the time. Every failure, I always take the time just to grieve it out, because if not, then I'll take it out on most likely my husband, and it's not his fault, and it's no one's fault. It's just like you said, the doors, and it wasn't meant to be. I don't understand it in the moment, but one day I will.
For sure.
I think I have many setbacks. One of them I will be writing about in a book that I will hopefully have out in a couple of years. That nearly derailed me personally. But the reason why I'm here and why I'm an inventor now, like where the hell, how'd that happen? And it's the happiest I've ever been because I have a product out there that has nothing to do with me being like, aren't I stylish? Like, hi everyone, aren't these great style tips? Which I love, but my product makes people happy beyond just me talking and looking nice. All of this right now is on top of a whole mountain of setbacks. Like, just over and over, and it's like the support system has been everything, like everything, and it is paramount. It's crucial to your sanity. It's a lot of people in this business that I've styled are off the rails emotionally and mentally, and a lot of them just don't have anyone to pull them back down to reality. So just so crucial, but truly, I think the more you're failing, the closer you're getting to where you're wanting to go. That's at least my experience. So if you guys out there, if it's not working, you just got to keep pivoting and be nimble and figure out another way and another way and another way. And if you feel it like right here, like I feel it right here, like that thing, like this is why I'm doing this, because I feel it in my gut. Just keep going, like truly keep going.
It's a beautiful thing about being a woman. We've got great intuition.
Yes.
You got to listen to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about team building. How do you decide who to hire, when to hire? Can you kind of take us through these processes? I know TOPTOTE just launched, but you've had teams in different senses. So I don't know who wants to go first.
I'll just go first just because we're so new with the moms and babes. But I think, when I came up with the idea, I knew that I could not do it alone. And that's when, we share the same age daughters, and what you've created and done with Simply has been amazing. So that's where I was like, come on board, be my co-founder with this. And then we just hired our first employee, which has been so great. But it was because, this girl's, working after Simply hours and working late night hours. And it's just like,
10 to 12 at night.
I've got my
after the baby's
husband. Yeah, exactly. I've got my husband like doing the orders, and it's just like, we need some help. And so I think it's just when you start to feel that, we want to make sure that our business is being taken care of and that our customers are happy. So we also have to be alive and thinking properly. And so we needed Jamie. So thanks, Jamie. But we'll eventually keep growing,
Yeah.
right? I'm
And
like, right?
I hope so.
Right?
With everyone's support. Yeah.
And two words that just get used a lot, but collaboration and culture now. I think that as you grow a brand, I started my company again with two people, and we probably have over 50 or 60 people now, but there's definitely a culture. You don't want a bunch of people all being exactly the same. Of course, different people have different skill sets, and we want checks and balances. And you want to come to a meeting. You don't want 10 people saying the same thing, but there still has to be like a company culture, and everyone doesn't have to fit exactly in the box. But going back to the mistake things, I've met some wonderful women who, on paper, were great, but when I knew they weren't the right culture for the company, but I liked them so much, and it backfires every time. So you have to, I know, but because so sometimes that's hard. You have to separate like just really liking someone and wanting to give them the opportunity, but if it's not the right culture, you know, that can
And
that can
did
mess
you
things up.
like did you just set the tone of the culture of the company when you started, or did
I
you put
mean,
it?
I definitely set the tone of the culture. Work I work really hard, like everyone in this room, and I still do. My team has access to me 24/7. My husband will tell you that when we first met and we moved in together, we woke up Saturday morning and he's like, "What do you want to do today?" And I said, "Oh, I have to go to work. I'm in retail." So I went to work and I met him, and then we woke up Sunday morning and he's like, "What do you want to do today?" And I said, "Well, I'm in retail. I have to go to my mom's store today." And he drove me all the way to my mom's store, and I knew I was going to marry him
Good
after
man.
that.
Yes, supportive. Yes.
So,
Um, so I started a YouTube channel at 32 years old. I'm 38 now. So YouTube, what? I mean, it was very unconventional, especially at my age. So for me, from day one of my YouTube channel, I always hired a videographer and an editor. I've never shot or edited my videos. Now, I know that that is not practical, but I think it's something to think about where and it's because I knew that's not where my passion was. Like I wanted to do it because I wanted to talk about my skill set, but I also needed to make the money, which was styling, because YouTube wasn't making me any money. So so if you have like a day job or something, once you pour your passion into something and nurture it, it grows, So for me, I took some money and sacrifice and I invested it in my YouTube channel years before it was even making any money. So I think that's a good bit of advice. I was talking to somebody like, oh, $800 a year for an LLC, that's a lot of money. I'm like, well, aren't you planning on making a lot of money when you start a business? So that's not a lot of money. So I just think you have to invest in your business. You just do. You have to know kind of where you can grind and do it yourself and where you're really not good at. For me, it's finances. Like I'm a saver, but you can't have a successful business just saying, I saved all the money. Like that's not, like that's not really dynamic. There's no strategy. There's no checks and balances. So for me, my first big hire was I hired a financial team. I have a CFO, two CFOs now. So that was my first big hire in social media, but no pressure to hire people right away. But I do think in the beginning, investing some money to take things off the plate that that you're not good at, that could hinder your success is very important.
And that time is better spent
Yes.
by you doing something that you're
right.
good at.
Yes. That scales you. Yes.
Yeah, love it. Do you want to touch on anything as an influencer hiring a team? Because I'm sure you have a lot of teams behind
Yeah,
you.
I mean, on the influencing side, I mean, it's so important. I mean, what you guys do, what Simply does, to help coordinate times for content, because content's so important, and you want your page to look, you know, beautiful and pretty, because you want the brands to keep coming back. But also, they're like, yup. But also, it's a hard balance too, because I want still my page to look authentically me. So it's trying to find that good balance, but you have to find, the right team that kind of goes along with that. But it's just about trying things and then okay, that didn't work, so let's try something else.
but even when you find your balance, it's always changing. So, which I think is one of the hard parts about all businesses, but it's also one of the exciting parts because it keeps us all on our toes coming back.
Yeah. And then Instagram goes and changes their algorithm or something. You know. Okay, so since it's International Women's Day, and I started Simply as a place to be kind and connect. That was the number one goal behind starting the business. But the fashion industry and beauty industry can sometimes not be so kind. And you guys all are amazingly sweet and kind and empowering. So, do you what's some advice, or how do you like empower other women, or how do you like stop
I'm,
the meanness in the industry?
I have no tolerance for that ever,
Mm-hmm.
ever. So I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but when I know about it, I have zero tolerance for that. It's
Mm-hmm.
just it's disturbing. It's just derailing. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. Everyone can have a bad day, but if it's happening over and over, you got to switch up your team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get slammed pretty much 24/7 from mommy shamers on my page, and it's just it's awful. But at the same time, I feel like I'm sad for them because then they're unhappy with their life to be projecting such negative energy onto me. So I'm just going to continue to keep doing what I'm doing because I know how I am as a mother. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm giving to my fans and my followers. So I'm going to keep doing what I know is authentically true to myself. It may not be right for or good for the other person, but I know that the women who truly do support me are like what I say and like what I have to say. But sometimes it doesn't, it just drives me crazy how people can be so hurtful because I read every comment and I know I shouldn't, but I'm like, and I want to reply back, but I don't want to I almost just want to say, I'm very sorry that you're having a bad day, that you feel like you have to be this negative.
Well, and it's almost like when you do respond, they're like, "Oh, I didn't mean that." Like,
Yeah.
they just want
So
attention,
they
or
do, like, they
yeah,
want the attention. It's just,
or kill them with kindness. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the solution is, but I think supporting businesses that are empowering. I don't if you have any other advice on how we can make this world a little bit more
If
kind.
I actually sometimes don't even look, like if I know, because it's just going to distract me, and I know if I'm going to wake up and try my hardest and do the best job I can do, and if I know only you know if your intentions are pure. So if I know my intentions are pure and I know what my goal is, there's certain places that I won't look at comments or um, and sometimes I'll have to go to certain functions, but if um, it really sets me back too. I mean, no one wants to hear. I would hate that. I'd want to call every single one of them and be like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it that way." But sometimes I feel like the that you notice sometimes the haters more,
Oh
oh,
or
yeah, of
100%.
course.
I
When
know
I read the comments from my
I
podcast, they're
know,
like,
but
"You're
why
so
is
annoying. You're
that?
so annoying," and then it's like all love, and then it's like that one you're annoying. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be annoying. But it's
I
like
think
love.
that's like women's nature. I can tell you that my husband wouldn't care at all. He'd be like, turn the page. Like
Yeah.
it would just like roll right off of him. And like 1 week later, I'm like, do you still think that I should have?
I think we take a
you
lot
know?
of weight on what people think about us. I know I want everyone to like me. I think that's my problem is
I think that's a common
Yeah.
but I think for
female.
women though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
for
women,
sure.
yeah.
So I just have one thing to touch on because this being a collaborative industry, and I'm also I'm a people person. Sometimes things will come across where people maybe want to work with you or collaborate with you, but you're feeling maybe you like them, but it's not aligned with your brand. The worst thing you can do is tell someone, "Oh yeah, for sure, let's do it. Email me, let me know," and then you email them and you keep emailing them and then they never respond. That's the worst. And I think sometimes people do that because they're scared to hurt your feelings. I would much rather someone say to me, like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I just have a full plate. This isn't going to work out. I'll let you know if we can work something out. I'll reach out." I'm like, "Cool." But I can't stand when women met anybody says, "Yes, oh my God," it's that like that Hollywood response. And you full on have this moment in this conversation and then they just flake and pretty much act like you never had that conversation. So I think that lends itself to the kindness thing and the transparency. Like, just be honest. And I think that people don't realize is when they're you know getting all excited and say, "Reach out to me," for that's so about them, and then they don't realize that you're just really like brought somebody up and then really let them down, when really you could have just been like, hey, reach out and I'll see if I can make it happen. And then you can think of any kind of little fib. It's fine. You know,
Right.
it's business. You don't always get what you want.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to be more open. So that's a big
Yeah.
big
Don't
thing.
commit to something that you're not into.
Yeah, and I understand casually, you know, you may be like, oh, okay, because you're on the spot. But then I think when the person reaches out, do not pretend like they don't exist.
Do you want to say the person's name that you're referencing right now?
No. No. Oh,
And
God.
their
I have a
Instagram handle?
list. I have a list. Well, I launched a product, you know, so.
Yeah.
Not everyone in my community really, you know, they were all excited about it. But then it was like, hello, where'd you go? Oh, okay, that's, I'll remember you.
Yeah.
So we have a company policy that all emails 90% should be answered that day, but everything needs a 24-hour response, which it can't always happen. You could be traveling or I also personally never use out of office response because I'm going to respond anyway. But my team is allowed to, but I hate when I email them and I don't like you're gonna respond anyway. But I feel like I try to respond. I try to get the team to respond, and even if it's like, and thank you so much for reaching out. We are currently not adding any new lines, and it just like let them know.
Yeah. Closure.
Yeah.
Close it up.
Yeah.
On to the next.
One
Yeah.
positive first and then
Yeah.
I mean, it's not negative, the turn down.
Yeah.
Positive,
Sandwich,
then
they
the
say
turn
to
down.
sandwich it,
Yes.
right? Like a positive in front, positive in the
Yes.
back, and hit them with the negative in between.
Right.
Okay, so as entrepreneurs, I'm sure we all have our favorite apps and our favorite products, but if we can go down the line and say our favorite tool or app or product for what is it? To be organized or for productivity?
I know mine.
Go.
Boomerang. I love Boomerang.
Oh, the email boomerang, not
Yes.
Instagram.
Oh, God, could you
Yes.
imagine? I'm like, I love boomerangs. I boomerang all day
Keeps
long.
me so
No, I'm sorry.
organized.
Boomerang for Gmail. I should have.
Yes.
Clearly, I love Boomerang for Gmail. I feel like there is no other Boomerang that exists. It's the opposite. Boomerang for Gmail is the most brilliant email app. I don't know. Have you guys heard of it?
No, what is it?
Okay, so
Ugh.
you know when you send like we're all doing a million things every day. So you can send an email and it will and then you can say I want a boomerang back in an hour or in a month from now.
Like a
So it'll
reminder.
it's a reminder. Yes. So and I live by it because I have a calendar that's full, but the calendar's full and then you're still doing a million other things that aren't in the calendar that are still important back and forth with conversations with different people in your team and production and my designer. So that is something that I live by. Or I'm like, I know this is pressing, so I'm going to email my factory at 8 a.m. and then I'm going to boomerang so it comes back to me at 5 p.m. It's just, I forget.
It's kind of like you're emailing yourself at a later time.
Yeah, it's just reminding you about that conversation that's pressing. Or, you know, when you're like, hey, like you said, we're not taking any lines now. Maybe you like that line. So you're like, you know what? I'm going to boomerang this just to remind me to come back to me in 2 months from now and see where we're at.
Usually I put the flag and then
Yeah.
still.
Yes, but I literally live by it. Another thing is Evernote. I use Evernote for my ongoing lists for all types of things, inspiration and whatnot. Obviously, I use my notepad on my phone, but Evernote is like that hub. For instance, like my factory, it's like I have to know how many ounces the luggage tag is. It's like tells me how many ounces the hex chain is. Like all those nitty gritty details I keep in their little categories in Evernote, and those are the two that I use constantly.
I'm super old school. I still have like my high school calendar
Trapper
book.
keeper?
I have like the calendar book. I
Okay.
like to write things down.
Like the
I don't know what it is.
Filofax?
I love what I know. It's got it at Target, but I love crossing something off.
Me too.
It
I do
gives
the
me like
same.
the greatest pleasure in life. Even if it's like take my daughter to school, I'm like yes, like yes, like that's me.
So I do
instant
the
grab.
same thing, and I actually like to write it down because I
Yeah.
feel like I process it, and I love crossing it off as well. But it's
like
not
an
like my
endorphin hit.
daily tasks. It's just things I need to remember to do. So I still carry a book with me, and I always rewrite the day and I'll rip out the page before. Hopefully, most of it's crossed off, but I'll have other pages in my book. And I try to have a nice book because then it like feels pretty if you're like walking into whatever meeting and you have your pretty book. But I'll have like one page that's just like all things I want to do. I'll have another page that's all like social media ideas. I'll have another page like travel, one kids, and I'm like constantly, if something pops into my head, I write it down.
Love
You
it.
guys are both old
So
school.
it's kind of,
No.
it's just like, it's like my own. It's just
Do you
like
sit at night with it too and drink
No.
wine and like, oh, see, I
No,
like,
I'm like morning.
and I have like
Morning.
my future goals on there too. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh gosh,
Morning
speaking
time.
of goals, I just wanted to touch on this because I really believe in this. When you start anything, I know this is like 101. You're like, oh, Lindsay, I didn't need to hear that. I knew it. But when you start out anything, I think truly the goals that you want for the next 2 years, writing those down is so, I mean, putting it out there in the universe, whatnot. What it also is you're strategizing. That's what it is. You're strategizing what you want to do in the form of goals. And that is a strategy. And I feel like when I started TOPTOTE, I had a strategy. And I look back at my strategy that I made 2 years ago, and I'm already, all those things are in motion or have happened. And I think that's what really like kept me on track.
I think it's also good if you do that to celebrate when you do hit a goal. And we try to do that as a company policy, but we could probably do it more. Although I guess people who I work with would say I try to make a party every single day.
No, that's so nice. But you're right.
No,
It's like
true.
I've worked for people where they're just so stressed out and they're not enjoying anything. And I think that is so important. Like my husband, when I even just had the Nordstrom meeting and they thought they were going to buy, I came home and he had congratulations. He like printed out Nordstrom and TOPTOTE. I'm like, babe, it's too soon. But he's like, this is a big deal. You had a meeting about this. Like, it's so true because we're doing this to achieve things. So there's wins, you know, you have to take a moment, like you said, and truly to celebrate it. Yeah.
One thing that we just sort of started in our company is we celebrate everyone's anniversary now. So everyone in the whole company, if it's your 1 year or your 15-year anniversary, and we have like 6 or 5 cute questions, all very playful. And they're like, oh, today's Cynthia's 4-year anniversary with the company. And then she has to answer the 6 questions. And it's just like a personal way of honoring someone for hitting their whatever year they're in.
Yeah.
And then it's always usually very comical and fun.
I love that. What a great conversation. Thank you so much, you guys. Are you guys ready for the big announcement?
I am.
Yes.
What is
Well,
it?
you guys already know what it is.
Oh, okay. I was like, yes.
Do I?
Yes. So, okay, as of I think right now, if it's 7 o'clock, in 10 minutes? Okay. Our online course has just launched, and all of these ladies are in it, plus like 5 others, amazing entrepreneurs, and it's an online course taught by me with all of these amazing guest teachers on how to build and sell a business in 5 years. So we're really excited. It's been like 5 months of lots of work. It's over 10 to 16 hours of content. Literally a step-by-step guide on everything that I've learned along the way, plus these amazing ladies. And we've got Katie from FabFitFun. We've got Jessie Draper from Halogen Ventures and Sarah from Curie Deodorant and all of these amazing speakers. So yeah, we're really, really excited. This is our second online course we've ever launched. And
Where can the streamers go to?
oh, it should pop up right now on the
Okay, good.
stream. But if they get it right now,
My
with
influencing was like, swipe up.
swipe up, yes, hit the link. But if you buy it now, you get a live Q&A with me. And then Simply will actually promote your business on Instagram stories, so whatever that business is. And then I will actually review your business plan and give you feedback
Like
on it.
any kind of, like what if it's like
Any business.
Any business.
I mean,
Uh,
any
see?
business, fine, any business. I mean, what? We got to support.
Well, you just
we gotta
opened
support
yourself
women.
up to something right there.
So yeah, all the details are on our site, simply-inc.com/course. Would love for you guys to join us and take the course and tell us your thoughts. So Thank you for being here in person, too, for the big launch and joining us tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Do you want another joke or?
Well, I was going to say we can cut the live stream.
So chill. This is like such a cozy event.
I know.
So, yeah.
I love it.